Hey guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow, guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. The names have been covered up to prevent civil war. But there's something going on inside this box that I need to address with the local community of radio operators. So, just bear with me a minute. I gotta do this on video. Actually, you know what? Let's take this out of the equation. Okay. And believe me, this segment here is going to tie into what we're going to do here in a minute. But let's see here. Use blue coax. This is the SRF 490, 120 watts into this thing. So, reach over here, put that in 1X. Let's hook this up. I have not tested this. I haven't fooled with this at all. This will eventually tie into the next thing. Kind of reluctant to even shoot this, but it's on the same topic line. Okay. So, let's give it the best chance for success. And let's come up here. Yep. So over here we've got our 1000 watt slug in PEP, 1000 and average 5 watt slug in reverse. As you guys can clearly see, since we're shooting in super mega high def tonight, about 150 watts worth of drive. Okay. 1 2 1 2. Thing's a talker box. You can hear it making power. Let's go up to 2X. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello. 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 Come on, meter. Hello. Okay. Trying to get my reflect meter up there on the workbench to to at least show me forward power at the moment. Let's go take a look here. And it's being picky tonight. Hello. Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello. All right. Hello. Audio 1 2. Hello. Audio 1 2. Hello. Okay. The reason this is important is I want to show you something. As you guys can gauge or guess by the topic in the title, we're going to cover fake Toshibas again. But we're going to specifically cover fake Toshibas from eBay. Now the reason that this is important that we look at this amplifier is because this is full of fake Toshibas. We'll look really close. The print isn't square. They're all at a slightly different angle. But the print is different from our standard Toshiba transistors. Okay. We're not going to get into the semantics of this box, like the tiny, tiny, tiny heat sink that's in this. This guy scribbled his name, the guy that built this, he scribbled his name all over the damn thing. And I don't want to, not interested in getting into, want to have the argument with anybody. Just using this as an example. Let's get out our big bag of duds. They work, they make power. They don't work right. Okay. The input tune on this box is fine. It's making 1500 watts of power. But it's not the real McCoy. There. Let's find us a red dot. Non-red dot. Non-red dot. Red dot. Here we go. Okay. So we got ourselves a 5H. Focus. Focus. We have ourselves a 5H. We have ourselves a 1J. Toshiba. Real deal. Now, let's take a hot minute and let's take out this one here. As you guys can very clearly see, this thing has not been aborted, as in like nobody's soldering iron has been in it. Now, there's a motivation behind me shooting this video. It has very little to do with this amplifier. Wow. I should have put this on a spectrum analyzer before I tore it apart, because it might be making good power on a watt meter, but it's not making, it's just not making the right power. That and these aren't what they're trying to say that they are. The lot numbers on these are 0B, whatever. Let's get the part pulled out. Let's take our Sharpie, put a little dot on it. Okay. Now, we're going to set that right here. Now we're done with this box. We'll come back to that in another video. I guarantee it. Here is the crux of the problem, you guys. Is this plague that has descended in the radio world. Okay. I got to do this in one smooth video movement. If I don't, there's somebody that's going to say, but he faked it, and this is how. This gentleman has a girlfriend that loves him very much. Or, let me make sure I say this right, because I don't want her getting offended. This is the one we just took out of the amplifier. This is one we took out of the bag. This is the other one we took out of the bag. I want to read the note here, make sure I say this right. My girlfriend bought these for me for my birthday. He says to his wife, because man, I just love to have a new set of Toshiba transistors, or his girlfriend. I want to have a new set of Toshiba transistors for my box. And she, being smart and a good person, went out and price shopped. And he didn't know that she was going to go out and purchase transistors for him for his birthday. So she purchased 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's one he did the testing on. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. She did not know that, yes, they sell these knockoff parts from China on eBay. So she went out and she bought from the cheapest place she could find, which you do a Toshiba search. You'll find these on eBay at a fairly decent listed price. Okay. So they show up in these little tiny bags. I have bought thousands of transistors in my life, and they have never shown up in individually sealed vacuum packed static bags. They only show up in trays or in little tiny baggies. Now, if we look at the transistor that's in the bag here, specifically here, you'll see that the foot is silver plated on this one, or has a silverish color to it. This foot here is gold. Every Toshiba transistor I have ever seen has the same style foot to it. And we're going to see if we can get in close enough here to show you what I'm talking about. So pray we can pull this off. Focus. Hold on. We're going to turn this to manual. Here we go. So if we look at the print between the two, see there's drastic differences between the Toshiba print and the number print, the lot print. Dramatic differences. Okay? That's one. Two, we're going to specifically talk about the 2879's. this right here. There's an edge that's on the edge of the transistor. That's right here. This foot isn't perfectly flat. It's actually got a cant where it cants up underneath the pill head, which allows the center of the transistor to be torqued down. There's a notch here, a physical notch. It's right here. Because this is not flat. It's actually got a slope to it. And you can see it right there. Thank God it came out. Okay. This is out of the, we're not going to mention the name of the builder's box. No slant to the transistor foot. No notch. Now, the fake ones were really easy to spot for a while because they were like some DEI seconds that somebody had reprinted on the lid. And the tabs were shorter than the stock ones. This has got normal length tabs on it. This one here, we'll just grab this one here. This one here has normal length tabs on it. So we'll just flip this back to auto. We'll widen out a little bit. Now he is fighting with eBay right now, saying that these aren't what they're supposed to be. As soon as he sent me the picture of them in the bag, I was like, oh no. Oh no. Because I knew he'd already been had. And I knew they'd fight him on the claims process. Even the material's a different texture. These are 6Js. The ceramic glue is a different color too. The ceramic glue is a different texture, different color here as well. Now this is a red dot. And you'll notice that the top cap is white porcelain. And the bottom ceramic coupling on the bottom is kind of an opaque. It's kind of opaque. Right here. This is the non-red dot. You see it's opaque, it's the opaque and opaque, but then the glue is orange. Here's our foot. Very hard to find edge. Our knockoffs from ammonium. There's no edge on the foot. No edge on the foot. The glue is white. But at least they got the porcelain mix right. But the print is still off. Looks like a duck. Quacks like a duck. Not a duck. Here's the one that we took out of the amplifier. Same thing. Print's exactly the same too, different lot number, but the print's the same. Once again, white glue. No cut relief in the foot. can see the print differences here. It's really subtle, but it's there. Come on. Okay. See the differences in the Toshiba and in the number and the lettering? It's close. It's not close enough. Okay, now I told him if you send me these, I'm not going to get out some fancy machine, and I'm not going to be nice. And what I mean by that is I'm going to burn the tops off the transistors. I'm not going to do it to this one. I've got a whole separate video I'm going to shoot of that amp. Okay. But first, let's start here. I don't know where that lid went, but it's gone. That's the internal die structure that we've come to know and love on a standard 2879. Non-red dot, red dot. Same die structure. Okay. Now, if this is what it claims it's supposed to be, straight out of the package, directly from Chinesium, the internal circuitry should look exactly, wow, they're not even burning off the same. Now it's turning a black red. Wow, the paint they use on this transistor is better than the actual real deal. Okay, so close, but not the same. So we can clearly see the die structure internally for the wafer is way different. We're not going to even talk about how the lids are differently affected by the heat. This new lighting is too bright. That's all I gotta say. Not even the same chips. The wafers are completely different. They're close, but internally they're way different. So guys, don't be like this poor guy. Don't buy these knockoff transistors off of eBay or Alibaba or from some other third party. The only place you can get the real deal transistors is from RF Parts. A versus B. I don't know what this is. I don't know. Way different than this. Just by looking at the internals you can tell. Visual, just a slight visual inspection. Now, what this will actually do for power, don't know. Will it intermix with these parts? Don't know. It's an unknown. Okay? The Chinese are trying to take advantage of us, or whoever, the Taiwanese or whoever you want to blame it on. And somebody said, well, I got these other parts, they work roughly the same, but they've got a different part label on them, and I can mark them down and do this other thing with them, and blah, 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 blah. They're close, but they're not the same. Not the real deal. And if the seller of these on eBay wants to kind of compete with me on this, I've literally got almost 1,000 of the real Toshibas, and I've got every kind of transistor checker there is in the world. Load tester, curve trace machine, whatever it is you want to throw against it. Definitively, the simple visual inspection of the way the entire transistor is constructed internally, they are different devices. I don't know what this is. Let's see. Here's a DEI. Let's grab ourselves a DEI. Let's try the same experiment with a DEI. It's not like a DEI internally. DEI. Let's see here. There's a Motorola MRF454. Or 455. Closer. Much closer. MRF 455. Let's see here. Here's a BLW 96. It's a good solid 50 volt transistor I was screwing around with for a hot minute. Let's see if it looks like the inside of this, because now we're playing this guessing game. That ain't legit. Let's go see if we can find the right deal here. Well, we're not going to get any data out of that. Nah, this has got two different wafer patterns to it on the inside. Let's see. There's a transistor that made me famous. Let's see, do we got any PP100s up in here? I know I do. Hundreds of them. DEI, Toshibas. Here's a PP80. Pair of PP80s. Let's see if this is close. Nope, not the same. Here is a PP100. Try it. Oh, looks more like the PP80, just minus one of the wafers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Do. Here's another odd one. Here's a real old school Motorola 455. Bingo. It's the closest we're going to get. The Motorola big body 455. It's about as close as we're going to get. It's like a double wafer 455. So there's the lower layer and then the upper layer. That's about as close as we're going to get. But you can see, setting these two next to each other internally, the structure is completely different. See what I'm saying? So I don't know. All I can tell you is it looks like the duck. It kind of walks like the duck. Somewhat quacks like the duck, but it's not the duck. It's not the real deal. So guys, don't be suckered in. If you see these things packaged in these little vacuum packs, hell, if you see them on eBay, period, don't spend your money on them. You're buying an unknown. An unknownium. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Gentlemen, I gotta go. Like I said, I could have pulled out about 7,000 different kinds of transistor checkers and said, look, they don't load the same, and got you all lost down the rabbit hole with that. Or I could just simply burn the top off the transistor and say, look, here's an actual Toshiba. Here's an actual Toshiba. Not a Toshiba. I have never in my life, never ever in my life seen a Toshiba with a gold-plated foot. Ever. That sucker's gold, baby. Gold. Closest I've ever seen to a gold-plated foot is this transistor here. These things used to come in a gold plate. They very quickly switched over to a silver, though. I gotta go, guys. Pretty cut and dry. Don't do it. It's not prudent. Not the real deal. Hell, the lids don't even burn off the same. Look at that shit. paint burned off the Toshiba. Just turned black on the knockoff. Is what it is, you guys. So I got to thinking. My customer sent these back to me in the original packaging. Sent this to me. And they folded this in half. And they put it inside of a flat rate box, priority. And they sent it to me. Well, the only thing I saw was this top part. It says Delta Electronics up here. So I thought, well, what harm could it do? So I went and I typed in Delta Electronics, 3108 East Tremont Avenue, Bronx, New York stores. Okay. And the address jives right up. This is Delta Electronics. This is where these transistors come from. I thought, this is interesting. And what got me thinking here was that RF Parts is the only licensed realtor for the Toshiba transistor in the United States. And I thought, wow, this is really brave of these guys. Now, I went and I looked at their Yelp reviews, like the one that's, well, the one that's right here. And this is their very first Google review right here. And they got a 4.8 out of 5 overall web review. I thought, well, this is interesting. But I take this for very little. I'm not jumping off this deep wagon yet. Because I don't know where this envelope come from. I don't know. Right? And me not being in the business and wanting to run down another shop, I see review after review after review after review where this guy's actually helped people, done this, that, car audio, whatever. Only installs CBs, doesn't do ham radio equipment, whatever. So I thought, well, let's add a little bit more knowledge to our knowledge base before we make a conclusion. So I went over here to Fleabay and I looked up 2879 transistor, and this is what came up, the very first seller. US seller, exclamation point, 2 pieces, Toshiba 2879C, 2879 semiconductor, super fast ship, New York seller. And so I clicked on it and went, okay. Sure enough, location, Brooklyn, New York, United States. I went, okay. Well, if we scroll down here a little bit further, the devil is in the details. Condition, new, brand new, unused, unopened, undamaged items in its original packaging. Where packaging is, and then I can click on that to read more. Brand, Toshiba. Part number, model, country, region of manufacture, China. 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 Does not apply. UPC does not apply. Okay. Let's go on to read. Got my radio up in the background. The hissing noise is starting to bother me here. We're a U.S. seller located in New York City. We ship immediately with UPS. Order same day ship. Why purchase from China in bold letters? In bold letters. Seller halfway around the world and wait 4 to 6 weeks, hoping you receive an actual order. Don't bother with these Chinese sellers and have to wait 4 to 6 weeks and hoping your package arrives. Purchase from a U.S. company and get your item in 2 to 3 weeks. So that made me think. Interesting. So now we're going to come back out here to the main page. We're going to scroll on down. I haven't done this in so long, my brain started to melt. Let's look at this here. Right here. One piece 2879 Toshiba. Let's click on this. Let's take a closer look. That looks remarkably like what I have on my workbench in the exact same package enclosure and lot number and build number. Exactly. But they're not even trying to hide that they're from China. And they shouldn't. Standard speed pack from China, Hong Kong, Taiwan. Okay. He is not selling, and I can't come down on him for this. I can't. I'd like to, and I'd like to come down on their shop, but I can't. Let me explain to you why I can't. He is not selling on his ad anywhere on eBay stating that these are legit Toshiba transistors. He makes it very clear in the description why purchase from a China seller. Halfway around the world. It's discouraging. It's frustrating. It's disappointing. But in no way is he marketing these things as being legit Japanese manufactured components. He has a component that he has imported into the United States legally, and they happen to say Japan on the component, but he's not selling them as Japanese-based components. So we're on the fence, and you need to be on the fence as well. I'm not saying anything negative about the shop. He's simply selling a product on eBay that might happen to be a knockoff, and he happens to be selling that in the United States. And he's letting your brain fill in the hole of thinking that this is a legit component, which it is not. Even the eBay item is listed as a Chinese component, not an actual Japanese manufactured part. So I don't know why eBay would not recognize the difference. I'm going to give my customer this little bit of knowledge to actually look at this. This is trading on tricky waters, man. You better pray that my friend Merritt down there at RF Parts doesn't find out that there's a seller in the United States trying to trade on a copyrighted brand merchant licensed product that's trying to distribute inside the United States this product. Because see, then that person at RF Parts, who I'm sure has a lawyer, who can open a civil case, then do discovery and find out how many of these transistors he sold, and then sue him for every one of these things that have been sold, which I'm sure he sold quite a few. 23 here, it says right here, sold 23 right here. And here's the dates that they were sold. Going back to December of last year. I don't know. This is not something I want to get into. This isn't an argument that I want to have, and I'm absolutely not here trying to run anybody down. I'm just pointing out the facts. You guys draw your own conclusions and do with this as you see fit. Frickin' disgusting, if you ask me. I gotta go. See you guys. Bump, bump.